Intellectually engaging to think outside the lines with conversation about the nation that never leaves you blind. Take a listen and pay attention. Here is where you find the educational, sensational meeting of the minds. Yeah, it's the meeting of the minds. Meeting of the minds.
Thank you for watching Meeting of the Minds. I am Selah V, and I am here with a group of lovely ladies today, and I'd love to introduce them to you. Today we have Rachel Burnside. She is an entrepreneur, but first and foremost, minister. Let's go ahead and drop that and be clear. First and foremost, minister, entrepreneur, and you are also founder of
Her Story Lives.
All right, and you have a website that if somebody wanted to check that out, they could, and that is
www.herstorylives.com.
Well, I'm so glad that you're here with us today, and I'm going to enjoy this conversation.
Absolutely.
I know it, because she just has such a wonderful personality and spirit. Also today we have Ramika Wise in the house with us. She is an esthetician, but she is also one of the funniest people I know on Facebook. She is just hilarious. And have you ever had somebody on Facebook that, like, you might not kick it in the real world like that, but on Facebook y'all are like aces? Me and her have really gotten to know each other through the internet world, and I just love her personality, her thoughts. And so when we were having the show, I'm like, let's get Ramika on the show. She would be a great fit. And also my cousin, not blood related, but by spirit very, very much. We grew up together, Arzu Falahi. We grew up side by side as children together. And I am going to take the conversation a whole nother way real quick before we jump into the topic, which is relationship goals, because I do want to share something that I think is really just a powerful testimony. Like, it needs to be said. Y'all need to know. I have to let you guys know. But when we were a lot younger, I was probably in my early 20s. You might have been in your 20s or teenager, maybe.
I think it was 18.
Okay. Word had gotten back to my family that she was in a coma. And I had gotten a word that pertaining over some things. And so now it was almost like back against the wall. What you going to do? What's your faith look like? Like, somebody that you care so deeply about is in a coma. What are you going to do, right? And so I felt a lot of pressure. I felt like I wanted to go and pray for her, especially because I had gotten a word concerning it. And I wanted to go pray for her, but I was like, who am I to go pray for her? I'm a mess, like, I'm going to go pray when I have all these issues or I got all these things that I'm dealing with. And I couldn't get past myself to go pray for her. But I still was preparing to go do it, but I still needed some stuff. And there was a woman who walks in the prophetic office at our church who was like, what you wanting to go do. And I almost kind of was like, I'm not, like good enough. But I really, really felt like, do you think that you're the one? It's by your stripes? Oh, or you're the one who's going to, no, you pray and I'll move, right? So I was like, okay. So me and one of my closest girlfriends, from this day, you're not a girlfriend unless you're willing to do this with me. I'm not going to say her name because she's such a private woman and I love her with all my heart. My friend fasted for 3 days with me. Y'all, 3 days of fasting is no joke. I want y'all to know. I want y'all to know that, like, with minimal water, by the third day, this is so nasty, not attractive, sexy, what I'm going to say. But when you fast for 3 days, by the second to third day, you're burping something nasty. You hear me, Rachel Burnside? Like, it's not cute. And it's painful. It is painful. But by the third, we fasted for 3 days. On the third day, we went to go to the hospital where she was. And so she came with me and we prayed for her. And we prayed 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 and prayed. But at the exact moment, her and I both knew when the healing went out. Me and my girlfriend. Like, we both knew. We closed it. And I was like, did you see what I saw? Because we both saw like just such a faint of her hands go up and then down. Like it was like this much. But I saw it and she saw it too. And when we were leaving, her brother was like, hey, y'all want to come back and pray? Y'all are welcome to come back if you want to pray. I was like, we won't have to, right? And then within 2 hours, your fever had came down. You had a very, very escalated fever. And then later on that night, we heard that she had came out of the coma, right?
What's crazy is that during the coma, the only thing I remember is her and her friend praying. I wasn't interacting with them. I didn't talk to them. I was in coma. But I do remember her and her friend seeing them and doing the prayer, and that's all I remember from the coma. I don't remember anyone else coming to visit.
The whole family came to visit
Yeah.
her. She remembers no one but me and my friend.
That was the only thing I remember from that coma.
And so I say that because people need to know how good God is. Like, I'm having one of those moments of, do you love God? You know, what's wrong with you? You know, I love God, you know?
Yeah,
And
definitely.
I have to let you guys know. And there's so many testimonies out like that in the community. Sometimes I'm afraid God's going to take me just so these stories can come from. I'm like, don't do it, God. Like, I was also like, just so some of these things can witness to the things that he's done is so amazing. And so because she was on the show, I wanted to take the opportunity to share that with everyone because it's such a beautiful thing. And it increased my faith. I mean, come on. After that, I'm like, who wants to be prayed for? And I'm not acting like I you know, am I like this great? No, just I know who is.
Right.
I'm not, but I know who is. And God is able to use anybody and everybody. And I'm not who to say when and where, but that's our truth, you know, and I wanted to share it with y'all. So now that we got that testimony out of the works, let's jump into the conversation. Relationship goals, right? We hear this all the time. Relationship goals, and you'll see a picture of something on Facebook and they're like relationship goals. I'll see some things, I'm like, that ain't my goal. That's not my goal, right? But a little bit backstage, we were talking a little bit about this to kind of get the conversation going. And some things kind of had came up. And you had been talking with your husband just recently about this. So do you want to bring us back to that conversation?
Yeah, I mean, okay, I don't want to bring it up, but I will. Everyone's talking about Khloe Kardashian and Tristan right now because of the image that they put on social media. People are attracted to their relationship. It's goals for people. And here this woman is pregnant. Well, she just had the baby, I think. And it comes out that he cheated on her with several women, and there's this, you know, this huge thing. So one of the happiest times in her life is probably one of the saddest times in her life. And so it kind of got me to thinking about, well, what are goals really? Because you set goals based on what you see on social media, the pictures that you see, but you don't know what they're really going through.
What their real life
You don't know
like.
what their real story is. And I think, you know, when we talk about goals, we need to be careful what we ask for. Like, don't say goals and you don't know what you're inviting into your life.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? So.
OMG. What you thinking, Ramika?
But at the same token, at the same token, like when you say something's a goal, then you need to be setting the steps to go after that goal. So, you know, dressing alike. I'm hoping y'all going to the mall to get them outfits since that's one of your relationship goals. But, yeah, I'm not big on the whole relationship goal thing because mine are people that I know, like real life people. Real life people that I know that have gone through things and have made it on through and still love each other. Supposedly unconditionally. Probably some conditions if we really want to be real. But no, our relationship goals are not a hashtag.
That's funny.
I mean, I've seen some that be like, yeah, that might be a relationship goal, you know, but for the most part, I'm kind of like, I don't understand. Like, I just don't get it. Like, well, how is this a relationship goal? But I don't know. Like,
I think maybe the attention the man is giving, if it's a picture of a man holding you, relationship goals. Yeah, every woman wants to be held by their man or by, you know, their boyfriend, whatever. So I think it's the attention, the attraction that just is what we're really putting relationship goals on. But, and like she said, in real life, relationships are hard.
Yeah.
Relationships are hard. Any relationship,
Really
marriage,
hard.
boyfriend, girlfriend, dating, family, friendships, everything needs work. You know, you and I can take 20 selfies. Hey, we love life. And behind closed doors, we're crying over stuff or being emotional. You know, it's just, it's kind of one of them things where, you know, it looks pretty.
So,
real.
Yeah.
being mad transparent, like we're about to really act like these cameras aren't even right here right now. But romantic relationships are one of the hardest areas in my life. And I was telling you a little bit, Rachel, that like people, because I'm on stage, when I'm on stage, I just don't care. A fight or flight response comes. You either going to fly or you're going to get out of here, right? Well, I'm not going to get out of here, so let's just go on and do the doggone thing, right? I'm not going to be self-conscious because I don't got time for it right now. I have to fight. Like right now, you're going to get whatever comes out because I'm in fight mode. And I'm not self-conscious. I don't have time to be self-conscious right now. I'll be self-conscious later.
Right.
But right now I got this. So when it's time to perform, when it's time to be on stage, when it's time to be on TV, I don't care. Like literally I'll go burp, burp and not care. See, yeah, you didn't think I would do that, did you? But I am not tripping. For me, because like, oh my God, no, I don't care. Because when I'm on stage, something else takes over that I just don't care. I can't explain it. So, then there's like this one-on-one interaction, romantic interaction. All that stuff goes out the straight window. And I become shy. Like this one guy was hitting on me at this Middle Eastern market, and I so don't know what to do. I drop stuff. I broke his thing. I'll walk into a wall like this. Yeah. Because I don't know what to do. And I was actually talking to someone who counsels me, and she's like, yeah, too bad you can't have an intimate relationship with the crowd, right? Because when I get into an intimate relationship, it reveals all the cracks in my armor, all the cracks that are there. And so, so like, let's start there. Relationship goals. Relationships are really hard.
Being able to be yourself. Relationship goal is being able to be yourself.
right.
What else is a relationship goal? Being able to be yourself. Golly, let's pause on that one. Let's not even go anywhere else. Being able to be yourself, my goofy self, where I'm going to be. Have you seen that Talladega Nights where it's like, I don't know what to do with my hands? I could get like that. And Rachel was like, I don't believe you.
I don't believe her.
Bro.
You know, for me, I was in several relationships before my husband. Majority of them horrible. Let's just be 100. But what I learned in marriage was that being married taught me to see myself in ways I had never seen myself. Being married is like having a mirror. There's nowhere to go. There's always someone there that knows the worst of you, the best of you, that knows when you're not telling the truth, that knows when you are. You know, it's like the highest level of vulnerability. And so I think that sometimes there's a fear when you're in a healthy relationship that you're going to have to deal with some things that you might not have had to deal with before, that you might have put under the rug, that you might have ran away from.
It brings it right on out.
Yeah, you're required to be vulnerable.
Oh, man. Required to be vulnerable. That's the part I'm not so good at. So being able to be yourself. Jeez, like,
you know, it's especially hard coming from bad relationships, and you know, I think every woman experiences those, and it's to a point, you know, if the person you're in the relationship with, it's, you know, you're tripping, you're doing this wrong, we're not doing this, blah blah blah, I do this, but you don't do it. It's always you doing it. So you get to a point, depending on how long you're in the relationships, you know, it's just like, well, let me not say this because I don't want to seem like I'm bugging him. Yeah, like exactly, walking on eggshells. So, you know, that's a tough one. That's a tough one to overcome. And I'm not going to lie to you, that's what I've been overcoming recently because my ex was like that. Everything I did was always a problem. Everything I said, everything I acted, just everything. So, you know, I think it's a beautiful thing when, I think vulnerability is a beautiful thing. I think it's awesome when you can actually just have someone to grow with, get those fears, and have someone there that, you know, supports those, doesn't judge you for messing up. You know, people mess up at humans. So it's tough. It's a tough one.
Yeah. And even on to add on to that, when you're being vulnerable, and like I've not come from like bad relationships, but I do find myself texting and deleting it before I eventually hit send because I'm sugarcoating what I'm really trying to say.
Oh, man.
And then even when I send it, the person starts to act funny because their communication skills are not up to par.
Oh, come on
so
now.
instead of saying, you know, well, I don't like when you said this or this, you know, not tell me what they didn't like about what I said. They just start to act funny, start to act cold. They draw back. They go into a shell, and you gotta pull it back out of them. Like, hey, what's going on? Like, you know, why are you feeling the way you're feeling?
When you pull back, I'm gonna let you have that whole pull back all to yourself.
You
You can have all that pull back to yourself. That's my biggest
My whole thing was, truthfully, my whole thing was I had said nothing wrong because I'm really, unfortunately, I'm the type of person that, like, I'll send it to you and I'll send it to you and be like, hey, read this and see if I, you know, if I was just a little too raw or just, and you'd be like, no, girl, nothing was wrong with it. And I'm like, so he just being sensitive. We so sensitive, but he's just being sensitive.
Yeah.
And then she'll be like, yeah, girl, he's being sensitive. And then they'll end up saying, well, I just didn't want to get into a confrontation. Why couldn't it just be a conversation? There was no confrontation. The confrontation is the fact that you drew back like that for no reason. Like, the confrontation is because your communication skills lack. They're lackluster, actually. But so that is some of the issue with being vulnerable and then them drawn back.
So I have theories on this, right? Like, so we're getting butt naked in this mug then, right? So you're just going to be rolling and like that. All right, let's do that then. So I feel like either in the beginning or if I'm not too interested in the guy or whatever, I don't care. I don't care, or I'm just your friend, like, hey, what's up? You come, you don't come, I don't care, right? And there's that. And then in the beginning, I'm like that too. But let me mess around and catch real feelings for you. Now I'm looking to give you reciprocity. Now I'm going to say some toxic stuff. It could be possibly toxic. I'm trying to work it out. I'm trying to work it out on film so maybe other people can work it out. At this point, when I start to show you reciprocity is when you get beside yourself. Like, oh, now, if I don't show any signs that I don't like you, you're on it, right? Like, you're on it. But if I begin to reciprocate in any way, these are my fears now. If I begin to reciprocate, you begin to be complacent, right? And so I have theories. I'm going to try to minister to myself real quick because I hear some stuff. These are my theories. You tell me what you think. You guys chime in. One is, in the beginning, there's this Oxycontin thing going on. You on a high, you feeling each other, and all you can see is each other's, like, good stuff, right? But then once that wears down, so when there's a conflict, everybody has a different method. One is fight, one is flight, and one is freeze, right? So then we pick up on each other's stuff. You said something, maybe rubbed me the wrong way, or I don't know, something. Your response is to come in closer, and my response is to get some space, right? And none are wrong. You might be like too much trying to come in closer, and he might be too much trying to get up off of it. But there's this dance now that is about to go on. But it's because of how people respond to pressure or to conflict, right? So this is my theory, is that the next level becomes, now we're bumping into each other's stuff. And my reaction is, the more you try to come in, the more I want space. And so I will try a little bit too, but then if I feel like you want space, that's my biggest issue. You can have all the space that you would like. Actually, I do it too hard. So, like, I see girls that, like, he didn't call me, right? And then they're, like, really upset about it. Like, there's going to be nothing for you to call, you know what I'm saying? Like, oh, you didn't want to be around, there's nothing for you to come back around to, like, but I'm quick with it. Like, I'm a little bit too quick with it, because my thing is that I gave you my attention. You worked so hard for my attention, and I gave you some, and now you want to act? I talked a lot. Rachel, jump in anytime now.
You touched on something when you started.
All right,
and
let's
you were
go.
talking about you date the representative. It's only so long that the representative can exist.
Right.
That's really what it is. Because
Right.
we fall for the representative, and even in ourselves. Because I think a lot of times we say, this guy showed me that he was this great guy, and then he turned into this guy that wasn't this great guy. And we're not honest about the fact that there are some things about us that are representative too.
The whole
you know what I'm saying?
gospel.
Like, I might not do that all the time. I might not be that great all the time, but you're going to think I am in the beginning. And so I think
or I'm way more patient in the beginning to put up with you, and now I'm just not. So.
And so what happens is, I think that, we start to really learn people for real. They get to see our stuff for real. And then it becomes less appealing to, even if you say you want space, well, I'm going to give you space because now I see outside of your representative. And I'm not about to fight for this other person that I've now met. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. Like, when it was all great, then maybe I would have been more inclined to kind of deal. But now that I'm seeing this stuff, now it's just too much. Now it's
Yeah.
too much work, because now I'm not only fighting for your attention and, you know what I'm saying, to figure out what this timing thing is going to look like for us, but now I'm also fighting with this other person I didn't sign up for.
Yeah.
So what do I do now?
Dang, mic drop. Let's just end the show on that. Like, gee, that's real talk right
That's a
there.
point.
And I'm gonna say, even though like I would try to, see what the problem is, because so I want to know like what I did. But when I've had enough, like I'm really nice in the beginning, but when I've had enough, like I'll talk to you when you call me or text me. There will be none from me.
See, I
There's
won't
none.
talk to you when you call or text
I
me.
will.
That's my
I'm
biggest
cordial.
malfunction.
And I will.
Arzu.
And I'm gonna say this is who I am now. I don't want anyone to bring up. I don't want anyone to be like, I saw you on the show. That's not how you were 10 years ago. This is how I am now. This is my views now. Now that I'm a little bit more grown.
We should all preface with that, baby girl. Every last one of us need to preface
I just don't want
with that.
someone to call me out like that wasn't ours 10 years ago. No,
I
so.
think we all need a disclaimer on that one. Thanks for dropping that.
I practice being kind just
Okay.
because I'm human and I am the queen of saying, can I cuss on this show?
You can, but don't hit the table when you
Sorry.
do it.
I am the queen of saying wrong shit.
Uh-huh.
All the time, and it's just because my words beat my mind sometimes, and I don't do it intentionally to be rude. It just comes off the wrong way. I'm misunderstood a lot. So, knowing that I have those feelings to where it's just like, you need space, we'll take all the damn space you need. Knowing that I say things that come off, instead of saying, hey, where are you at? Hey, where you at? It's a different approach. So I take that into consideration and try to be kind. I will be kind, and when he starts acting funny, or when someone starts acting funny, a distance towards me, I'll give love, because that's what I'm practicing at the moment. And if he's not feeling it, then it's one of those things where I did the best I could. Sometimes people are put in your lives to show you a reflection of yourself, so that you're supposed to learn a lesson. I'll see what I can learn. I gained from that relationship and move on. I learned not to take a lot of things personally, because you never know what that person's going through. That person could be on Instagram,
I'm so like that.
on boats and
Very
stuff,
much
but
so.
you never know. It goes deeper into like childhood drama.
Yes. And I can be
you never
so
know.
understanding about all of that non-romantically. No, like when it's not romantic, I understand you're dealing with your inner man and you got fears that, go deal with that.
By yourself.
Right, yeah. It's
Yeah.
like, okay, I don't know, but it's a terrible, terrible thing.
Yeah, I'm definitely not saying to try to heal everybody.
Right.
No, I'm not trying. Don't heal everybody.
Yeah, no. But I think honestly, if okay, we know age is nothing but a number, but we also know that the more experiences we go through, the more we learn, the better we are. So I think some of that is, if I'm dating somebody who's 35, I have a few expectations of them.
Correct.
You're 35. You're not
Correct.
25. You're not 15. That's just it. At the same token, we still need to have a talk, because even a 35-year-old could have only been in one serious relationship. Period. So if you've only been in one serious relationship, if your parents were divorced, like what did you really like? Did you go to church? Do you have any? Do you know anybody that's married that you listen to them talk about their relationship? Like, so I do have to take that into consideration. But please, if you're going to talk a big game and you're 35, back it up.
That's real.
And not just even putting a number, like a specific number on it. But I'm 33, and I've learned. I'll be 34 at the end of the month. I've learned
Happy
a
early
lot.
birthday.
Thank you. From not only my relationships, like learning from others' relationships.
For sure.
I learned stuff from reading stuff on Facebook. I'm like,
Yeah.
But we do put expectations on people when it comes to a certain age. My son's 11, and I expect stuff of him.
Yeah.
Yeah. But I feel like, presenting expectations can prevent some of what you're talking about.
Yes.
Because for me, like I said, I did have horrible relationships, okay? I had abusive relationships. I went through all kinds of stuff until I grew up. And until I took the things that I learned from different situations and said, okay, this is what I learned. This is what I don't want. This is what I do want. And I was real clear about that. And so when my husband came into my life, I put everything on the table.
Yeah.
Every single thing that I had gone through, every single thing I was looking for, even as simple as, you're saying when people kind of say I need space, then that does something to me and I'm going to give you all the space you need.
I don't mind them saying I need space.
You just give them too much space.
No. If they say, baby, I need space because I need to regroup, I get that because I'm actually introverted a little bit.
Right.
And like after this, I'm going to need time to myself.
Yeah.
So I get that. It's when you frontin' and like, if I pick up on that vibration, by the time you come back, the spot that you came back to is on fire and disintegrated in the ashes.
See, but so even in that, I feel like even saying that, like, look, this is what I've been through. This is what I've seen. I'm gonna tell you something about me. If you do this, I'm not gonna really have much left to give you. I'm just telling you.
Yeah.
We're gonna start this situation. We're gonna start this relationship.
We're
gonna start this together. Like, this is one of my hang-ups. This is one of my deal breakers.
Yep.
Yeah.
It is what it is. And you can't say I never told you. So if you start acting funny and then I act funny back, don't be surprised because I told you from day one.
My philosophy is like, think of like a $10,000 ring. If somebody gave you a $10,000 ring, what would you do with it? Just leave it somewhere, anywhere? Would you just not know where it's at?
Right.
Would you, let it be in the dirt, in the mud? Like, would you just say, hey, hold this, I'll be right back for it? Like, you would want to know where it is, where it's at, who's holding it, who's touching it, when's it going to be back. Like, this is real. So when somebody values you, the reality is that they're checking for you.
Yep.
And if you're not checking for me, but that's the thing that irritates me, though, is that you check for me so hard until you got reciprocation, and now you're lax. Now, the problem with me is that you see how she articulated it so maturely. I come through with one of those fire guns, just like,
Just mow them down.
yeah, just like, but actually I think I'm getting better at it. Maybe. Like, I just like,
It's a process.
Ain't got time for it. I guess we're being so naked, brutal, honest. There's too many guys who want your spot. There's too many people that want your spot for me to play games with you.
Yeah.
Like, you must not know, you must not know what it is. But then it does hurt me, though. So somewhere I do believe that. Also, now we got to get into the next thing about relationship goals, though, too. Before we can create things ourselves, too. Like, see things a certain way that might not be that way.
Yeah.
Or even create certain things. So, like, all right, okay, I'm hearing something in my spidey senses, my spirit, so let's talk about that. So, like, let's say I made a big goof right now, right? If I feel like, oh, I goofed, they're going to be upset with me, some of y'all might be a little judgmental, like, Sayla, I can't believe you did that, right? But if I forgive myself internally, like, oh, man, I just made a mistake, it's like y'all pick up on the vibe, you'll be all right, girl. Like, I'm talking about, let's say, at the job or at work. Do you know what I mean? Like, if at the work I showed up late and I'm like, oh, they're gonna, it's like people pick up on the vibration and they're judgmental about it. But if I come through the door like, I'm at a thing, it's like people pick up on the vibration of it, right?
Yeah.
So another thing is that if you come in through the vibration of like, you should be so lucky to, or then the vibration starts to change. It's like, are they changing their mind? Like, oh, now you see who I really am. Because another fear that I have is that people see what they see on stage and have an expectation of what they thought I would be like. And then when they meet me, I'm dropping stuff. And, like, I'm like, So being yourself, going back to the number one relationship goal. You guys think real quick, if anyone wants to chime in after what I said, please do. But also think, what do you think one of the top relationship goals is for you? But if you want to chime in on what I just said, too, do that, too. While y'all are thinking. I know, kind of confusion. Got y'all thinking about two different things at the same time.
I'm gonna go ahead and say now, I'm not married, so this is just coming from a single person. Learned a lot through crappy relationships, trying to be better. I think respect is one of the biggest things. It doesn't have to work out. You know, it things might not work out, but not blasting your partner on social media,
Right.
not doing, you know, below the belt stuff, and, you know, calling the cops and just for random
Dang.
things,
Oh,
just
heck
setting
no.
someone up. Just, I think the respect's there, you know.
I'm gonna make a phone call, but it's not gonna be the cops.
Just like, you know, and I've known, I have guy friends that, you know, women, you know, I have this one guy friend where his girlfriend hit him with the PlayStation and called the cops on him. You know, he never put a hand on her. There was people there. So it's just, you know,
Can
I think the
ask,
respect.
I'm just so curious, and it's wrong. I'm curious. What was her race? I'm just so curious. Please tell the truth. I want to know.
She was white.
We got that on comment. I apologize. I'm wrong. That's terrible. Please forgive me, Lord. All right.
But
I was
you know,
just curious.
I
I
think
just want to know.
from what I've seen and from what I'm actually currently seeing still on social media is the respect. You know, you're blasting your significant other, and it's like, hey, everybody has problems.
Yeah.
Yeah.
If you know, it's hard to come back from that. You know, you just told your whole Facebook
I would
that
never
your man sucks.
blatantly put a Facebook post that you knew what I was talking about, but I will take a zing shot like that. Nobody,
Oh.
it covert. I can't.
Maybe
I can't
some
even lie.
jokes, but nothing.
No,
else
I will
some
covertly be
serious stuff.
like,
I've
you know
seen
what?
some-
You know what?
Yeah.
I've seen some stuff, like currently I have a friend, hopefully they don't watch this show, I'm not going to drop any names. I have a friend who going through something with his girlfriend, and boy, she tagged him on it. She
On
tagged,
Facebook.
correct.
Yeah.
And tagged him. And you know me, I don't know what's going on. I didn't know. So I saw one post, I was like, oh man, going through it, like, feel ya. Then I saw, starting to get into a little relationship, I was like, oh, okay, try my hand. Whoop.
Let me take my lights.
Yeah. I was like, dang. So, you know, I see it a lot. And she's not the only one. Like, I see it a lot more often. So I think respect is definitely, like, you don't have, you know, you might go through it, break up, cheat, whatever. But
Listen, when I get in a relationship, I ain't gonna have time for Facebook. Not really. That's a joke.
She's like, we
But
got
I'm
stuff to
definitely
do.
like, and I've been on Facebook since 2006. That would have made me, what is that, 21? 21? That was like, at that point, Facebook was only for college students, and it was really, the first year, I was pregnant that year, and I was bored. So I'm just on Facebook, just, you know, it was nothing. You know, what are you doing? Eating pizza. Like, nothing. But then I had the child, and eventually, like, every once in a while, I would say a thing or two about his dad. But if I could go back, I probably could go back and delete those. I don't care to now, because that was then and this is now. But I would never, as far as relationship, and that wasn't even relationship stuff. That was our co-parenting relationship.
yeah.
Um,
Well, your age, I'm talking about 30 and up
yeah,
at this
yeah.
point now.
So
that's
at
growing.
almost 34, like,
Yeah.
no, like,
Yeah.
like, and not to say, because I really, it does irk me when I see a Facebook page full of rainbows and hearts and flowers. Like you don't go through nothing real.
Right.
Nothing.
Yeah.
But,
Hey, why'd you go to Big Frame? It almost got us on Big Frame, but no. Okay. So, yeah.
like, you don't go through anything real. But what we're not going to talk about is, you know, what we arguing about. Like,
Yeah.
it's just not, like, that's for us.
It's nobody's
Um,
business.
Yeah.
The relationship should be run as if social media did not exist. Period.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Um,
I think so. I want to answer a couple of the things.
Please,
that you,
I'm glad.
that you asked. For me, I'm a woman of faith. So, and my husband is a man of faith. So for us, the goal was always to keep God as the core. And so when we met, it was the conversation that I had with him where I said, this is what I'm looking for. This is what I'm not. This is where I'm at. You're not good with it. I respect you. You're just not for me.
Yeah.
Because God told me who was. And if you're not cool with this, then you're just not him. And that's cool. So I think in our marriage, what has kept us is not each other. It is God. Because if it was up to me and him, we wouldn't be married still, because we're human. So we argue, we get upset. This is, it happens. You know what I'm saying? You live with somebody 24 hours a day, 365 days a year. You think that there won't be hard times? Absolutely. But because God is the core, we know it's bigger than us. So it works because of that. One of the things I'll say is grace. Goal, grace.
I agree.
It's grace. And that's not just in marriage or in romantic relationships. That's in relationships. Because I think when you have a relationship with someone that you know values you genuinely and you value them, then you have to have the grace for them to cover the multitude of sins that they might make.
Come on.
And so one thing that my husband and I say all the time is perception and intention. Know the difference. How I perceive something that you say or something that you do might not be your intention.
Right.
And I
That's
have to
good.
have the grace
That's good,
Right.
Rachel.
to allow you, right, to explain to me what your intention
Right.
was. But you also have to have the grace to understand what my perception is.
That's nice.
So this was your intention. I'm telling you what my perception is. Now let's have grace for each other and respect it. I respect that this made you feel this way.
Right.
I respect that you intended for it to look this way.
And then move on from it.
I don't
She
know.
a preacher. Happy.
I don't know.
I don't know.
Because you might not intended to hurt me. Because she just said that it might not have been their intention to hurt you, but you did. You hurt me. And so then, like, you know, you come and you say, like, yo, that's not going to work. Like, that's not okay. And so if you're not married, if they continue to pull those shenanigans, you'd be like, you need to cut it.
And then that would mean that they're not respecting your perception.
Right,
Because
right.
it is a two-way street. So that wasn't your intention, and I hear you. So I'm going to give you the grace to forgive you this time. But now that you know what my perception is,
Yeah.
you need to be careful, because
Yeah.
you know how it made me feel, whether it was your
Right.
intention or not. So now you need to think about it
Right.
Yeah.
when you move forward.
And if you don't
That's
care
good
enough
view.
to think about it, then you can move forward
That's right.
to the left.
Absolutely.
That was good. That was good.
How do you, I just want to be able to transfer, like, my persona when it's, like, go time into that romantic relationship. You know, like you said, being yourself. Like, I feel like that awkwardness is myself, but I don't want it to be myself.
And you're only awkward around when it's one-on-one with the man that you're interested in.
No, sometimes, especially, I don't know if this is related, but I get very, very awkward during small talk, too. Like, I want to jump out of the window, like, at
just be-
first. I don't know. Super awkward. So I'll get off stage, finish doing my thing, and then, like, somebody will want to come and have a talk or whatever, and I'm like, don't know what to do with my hands.
I think you should do what you just did.
Like, what I'm
Make
doing.
a joke out of it.
So I've been getting like that actually lately, because I am working on this, like wanting to work on romantic relationships and stuff like that is really something that in this hour I really, really want to work on. Plus it's getting, you know, the game is getting later in the day, and I'm like, all right, I gotta work on this now. So I'm starting to work on it, and I see it starting to bleed over. But what's causing it to bleed over is not good. What's causing it to bleed over is like what you said, that you start seeing each other's stuff and you're like, all right then. So now I'm starting to get the confidence from being like, oh okay, and then now, but it's just terrible. Like, the more is it okay? So my girlfriends that are mutual friends with us, actually, I guess we'll go ahead and shout out TNL Salon, Tiffany and Nicole, and I have to shout out actually another thing I was supposed to do. We'll do it at the end. So shout out to Tiffany and Nicole, TNL Salon. I go over there and get, you know, like when things are falling apart, she's doing somebody's hair and talk, and they'll be like, she'll be like, this is what you need to go do. You need to go get snatched ASAP. Go, you need to go. I don't even want to see you until you got this, and that, and then you got wasted snatch. Go and come back. You know, you need to you fine, go do that. And so I'm like, okay, you know, and take some pictures and post them too, right? And so she'll like get me all back in line. But one thing she always tells me that I think it was a grandfather told her, is that never give your all. Like, never give all your tears. Like, when you cry, never give all your tears. I'm gonna mess it all up, Tiffany. When you cry, never give all your tears. When you laugh, never give all your laughter. It's something like, basically what she's trying to say is don't always give everything.
Yeah.
And keep something for yourself. She always says that, keep something for yourself. But another thing is, like, I don't know, like, it makes me sad that you can't, like you gotta kind of front a little bit. You know what I mean? Like, you gotta pose like this much.
You do, because they posing.
But I don't want to. I just want to love you. Can't you see? I just want to love you.
Well, that comes when you get to the love part. But you gotta.
No, because the minute you break them off with, like, all of that is when they start acting.
Not always.
Whatever. Really?
Not always.
But that's because you know how to still do a little, like,
But I didn't
boundaries go
always,
out the
though.
window, huh?
I didn't always though. Everything we've been talking about is trial and error. You know what I'm saying? Like, I wasn't born married, and believe it or not, I dated my husband for 6 months before he proposed. We were married in a year. I thought I would still be single at 40. Like, but when you meet someone and it's right and it works, it just works, and it don't take 5 years, 10 years. It might, but it doesn't have to.
All right,
So
can we
you
all
just
touch
never
and
know.
agree? Can we all touch and agree?
We're gonna touch and agree.
That's the thing about patience. Like, when I hear those types of stories, it's like, I'm just not finna waste. I'm not finna give you all when, truthfully, they know. And if you don't know, and there's not a time frame, like, you should know if I want to be your wife within 3 months, or
Yeah,
I mean,
no.
you can, but there's not a time frame. When you know what you want, either I'm that or I'm not.
That's right.
And
But I
there's
think that
there's
they
no
know
way to.
quickly. They know, people know quickly.
They do.
Don't
They do.
I might be wrong. I'm
okay,
gonna
so
get a long letter about that.
There isn't a time frame, but there is a
there
time
isn't a time frame, but there is. So if you know what you want, and when we start going on dates, I'm that. Eventually, you may realize that I'm not actually that.
Right.
So eventually, maybe in 3 months. Eventually, maybe in 6 months. But in 6 months, if eventually you notice that I wasn't 100% that, but I'm that enough, because your list might be a little just like, oh, I want a girl with hair down to her butt.
And that's not
Okay, well, good luck. I had some in my dream the other night, but this is reality. It ain't there. So if you realize that, okay, you know what, her hair is down to her butt,
But she's still fine.
but
Get out, right?
but she's everything else on my list, which they don't have lists or whatever. In 6 months, like, why you gotta wait another 6 years? You don't, because you're not gonna be able to wait 6 years with me. No, you're not. Honestly,
I mean, I don't know. Maybe if, like,
we too
younger
old. Like, I'm
situation-
too
yeah,
old. Like,
like-
okay, it's different if I met you in high school. You my high school sweetheart. We went to college together. We waited about 2 or 3 more years till we got established.
exactly.
So that's probably about 10 years right there. That's totally different than I'm about to be 34. You're 34. You're 35. We're in our careers. Like, we're sitting down at the first date. We're saying our relationship goals is a healthy marriage.
Rachel, did your husband go super hard in the beginning and then lax later on a little bit?
No.
He
But
still go
you
just
just
as
said
hard?
something. Yeah, but you just said something that, and I feel like we just answered what this whole thing is about.
All right, well, make it plain.
I feel like your relationship goal needs to be to have goals.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So, for example, if you enter into a situation, it's not necessarily saying I'm giving you a year to propose,
Right.
but it's saying this is my goal to be married. This
Yeah.
is my goal to be in love. This is, like, I have a goal. Everyone don't want to be married. That might not be your goal, but you
Right.
might have a goal. You know
Right.
what I'm saying? And so this is my goal. What's yours? Are our goals compatible?
Do they
Is my
line up?
goal something that it looks like you would want to be, working towards? If not, then you're wasting my time.
Let it go. Let
You know
it
what I'm
go.
saying? Like, when I met my husband, I said, my goal is to be married. If your goal isn't to be married, then go date somebody else.
Yeah.
And it's no hate,
Yeah.
but this is my goal.
You're absolutely right.
That saves a lot of heartache and heartbreak. First date, my goal is to be married. If your goal is not to be married, it was a great time. We had a great time, but
Right.
Yeah, that's being I feel like that's being comfortable with yourself.
Yeah.
Having the guts to say that, like, this is what I want to be married. This is like being ties into being yourself, having the guts, having the courage to actually honestly speak on how you feel and what you're trying to.
And not ignore the red flags. I'll be honest. I'm
Listen.
guilty of ignoring where I've said, and we're just having regular conversation. We're not even on a date. and I've said, like, the ultimate goal is to be married. And this is somebody who was married before. And unbeknownst to me, I didn't even realize that he had gotten out of a relationship like 3 months before we started being in conversation, because he didn't tell me. But once he literally told me, like, 3 months after we started having conversations. We still hadn't been on a date yet because he's out of town. But he literally told me, when you said that you wanted to be married, I just got a little scared by that. Okay, well, you should have told me that, because if you got a little scared by the fact that I said I wanted to be married, he felt like it was pushy. His exact words were, I felt that was a little pushy.
I'm going to be honest, though. I don't think that you should be on a second date talking about marriage, though. Like, if I was a man, I'd be hella scared. I would. Like, later on, like,
if it's your goals, though, like, if the man's goals are marriage,
like,
then I don't
what
see why
is your goals in relationship type thing. But, one day to be married, like, really casual. Like, I would, honestly, like, too many women are on the first date sizing the dude up. Is he husband or husband material? And I think we kind of go wrong with that. Like, instead, no, just chill. Like, you chilling. You're on a date.
I agree with that. I absolutely agree with that. But then there's this whole token, or this flip that, and they're like, well, we're not taking women on dates anymore because we don't want to waste our money. They just want to eat. They just want to spend our money. That kind of thing.
Well, then that's just the wrong guy completely. Like,
right.
I don't know.
I don't really want to like I told her. I'm in a singles group, and I see some of this foolery. I see it. Now, none of those would be anybody that I'm interested in, but I'm gonna save you your time and your money. And honestly,
there's somebody out there that will appreciate that too.
That's what I'm saying. So the person, the absolute right person for me. Is somebody who would not be scared of or intimidated by, because they love to use that word, by me saying on the first date. Because on the first date, we are talking about, ourselves, obviously, what you do, where you're from, what kind of dog you got. You like cats. I'm allergic. I'm not really allergic, but I'm going to act like and then I will put it, I have a child. I do want to be married. That is the end goal to dating anybody. I want more children. Like, this has to be put out there, because even if they don't want more children, we can end that first date. I legit want more children.
I'm gonna tell y'all something. Like, I'm gonna do my, like, what they do, like Dr. Evil hands or whatever. Yeah, I'm gonna be real. Like, I'm gonna get I get emails and messages about things that I say, and I know I'm gonna get, like, I think that it was wrong. That
email her.
But I'm just being
we got your
real. Like, I am being real and being raw. Okay, like, so. A first date type thing, second date, or if I'm just hanging, I don't even consider it really date, because most likely I know that, like, we're chilling. Like, it's hard for me to like a guy. Hard, right? And that's why I get so mad. If I liked you, what are you doing?
That is.
Yeah. It's like, oh my God,
do you
know
now.
what it took for me to like you?
Now.
Like, I gave you a chance, and that's why I get so offended by it. But normally it's just chilling, right? So even that. But if I go out with a guy who says they like me, blah blah blah. I will offer to pay. I'll be like, do you need help with that? And if they say yes, you are friend zone for life.
So you basically doing what you said you don't like in a different way.
I don't care. The moral of the story is, I don't care. But here's the thing.
You testing them.
Right.
Later on.
I don't like being tested.
Okay,
and I don't.
I don't know if it's a test.
No, you tested them.
No.
Because
Look, maybe it is, maybe it's not. But the reality is that I will help you pay. I never want to assume that you got it, right?
Excuse me. Who asked you to go on a date?
What are you talking about? Oh,
did they ask you to go on a date?
Well, I would never ask a guy on a date.
Okay, what?
That's a whole nother issue.
I'm finna email you. What's the email? I'm finna email you.
Say la vie at me.
You asked me to go somewhere. But you asked me to go somewhere and you ain't got the money.
I would never ask him. Like, I would never.
That's my point.
But what you're saying, and this is why I disagree with your earlier statement. What you're saying is, I size them up, but I just don't tell them that I am.
No, here's the thing. Maybe that is like a sprinkle of the case.
Oh,
no. I gotta tell y'all why I do it though. I never want to assume that they're gonna pay.
Yeah.
Right. So I'm like, I got it, right? But the thing is, if you let me pay, the way that I interpret that is that you weren't willing to sacrifice something of yourself. And so you probably got friend zone. But here's that later on, like once we're like, you know, in it, like you don't got money, I got you, boo. Like, you know, like that. But
we can just be friends. If you're doing that,
Yeah.
There are men that do that too, though. That's
I
the
mean,
funny thing.
Huh?
There are men that do that too.
Yes,
What?
they absolutely
See if
do.
a woman will offer.
Oh, you got to. You can't
if you don't,
assume.
some men, if you don't offer to at least pay the tip, then you're friend zone.
But
Yeah.
I gotta be real.
But that's not
Like,
traditional
in the
dating,
beginning,
honestly.
when you're trying to court me, if you're like, yeah, oh, you my homie for life, cuz. And I'ma love the mess out of you, but we can't be together. Are y'all looking at me?
Because because I don't think there's anything wrong with it. Why?
Okay,
Because
okay.
that's one of your expectations. But that's what I
real.
mean by these are my goals.
Mm-hmm.
Fit them or fail. And if you fail, it's cool. We just aren't meant to be. And that's why I don't think there's anything wrong with saying I'm looking to be married in the first or second date. Is there something wrong with trying to change somebody or convince somebody to be where you are? Yes. But I feel like if that's your goal, then there's nothing wrong with me saying that's my goal. And I can say in saying that, I'm not trying to make you marry me tomorrow, not trying to make you marry me next month. But I want it to be clear that that is something that is important to me that I want. Because if it's not something you want, then why go through these motions?
Yeah.
Why waste more time?
Yeah.
First date, second date, I don't need to do 2 dates with you.
Honestly,
Yeah.
and how I look at it, like I said, I have an 11-year-old. If I'm on a date with you, I'm not with my son. And I'm not just gonna be dating you to be dating you. That's just bottom line.
Yeah.
Because I could date not date him, but you know, I could take him to the movies, take him
Yeah.
somewhere, get popcorn, something, you know. So
That's real.
I've been making myself look bad all on my own.
You crack
show.
me up. You crack me up.
I wish I could be
so
like this
funny.
in relationships. I don't care.
I hope they taking
genuinely.
heed.
You know why? Because I also feel like an anointing falls, and whatever is supposed to come out is for the benefit of
That's
others,
right.
even if it's making me look bad. And I'm willing to put myself out there if I feel like it'll help somebody else. So even my faults, even my shortcomings, even my error of thinking, you know. And when you're forgiving with yourself, we talked about this earlier, people are more likely to be more forgiving of you. So one thing, and I don't know how far we are into this, and I'm looking. Okay, one thing I want to know is though, I feel though like men treat women that are, I'm not gonna say
We have
itchy
this. We talk.
with a B. It's like when they're like, it's like when women are. I can't use
Mean?
it because Sister Myrtle is watching the show and she'll write me a 5-page letter. When they're acting like a bee or like, you know, like they just don't. Guys are more a certain way. We're
Sadiddy
going
when they're
back to
sadiddy.
that. Yeah, sadiddy. Yeah, that's it. But then the more compassionate and love, we're going right back to the same topic. We talked about it again, but it's still a problem, so it's resurfacing, okay? Fix it. So what? You just got to stay a little sadiddy then? Rachel's like,
It's all-
yes.
All about the chase, I guess.
Oh,
Right?
man.
That's what
Y'all
I'm
accuse
noticing.
me of being terrible.
It is,
but
though.
when I'm being like that, I'm legit not into you. So going away,
Yeah.
go.
That's the process.
Get
That's
out. I'm legit like,
Since I'm like that too,
Nice.
and since I'm like that, I kind of more. I don't do the I don't entertain the chase too much because I suck at it. Like I said, if I'm blowing you off, I'm really not interested.
Right.
I just kind of just set up boundaries. It's kind of more. I just
Like, what are
focus more on the boundaries, just because I'm not good at the whole playing games. Like, oh, this part I'm supposed to act like I hate your guts. Oh, okay, cool. So it's just that stuff doesn't occur. It doesn't come, you know. So, but I mentioned this when I talked to her the other day. It was
we
you know,
can hear the guys in the back cracking up. I bet they're wishing they could interject some stuff, but you can't. We can hear you.
I got something for them though. But no, you finish. You talk.
Sometimes you just got to tell somebody they got you fucked up. I mean, at the end of the day, you know, set your
she's gonna write
boundaries.
that 5-page letter.
You know, I'm sorry. It's just like it's boundaries. So it's kind of
Yeah.
that's just where I'm going. And oddly enough, it's been working. You know, so hey.
I know that
I
you're
used
my
to be more
kinfolk.
understanding. I used to be more understanding. You know, the good guy, the ride or die. All right, no, that didn't quite. That got me a couple
It
of.
makes me sad.
bad
I get
guys.
sad. Ramika, I get sad.
That you can't be
But-
yourself, your
yeah,
loving
that
self.
there's a part of me that has to not just like be all that.
What makes you more
I
sad,
really
that
can't
or
imagine
heartbreak?
not being myself.
I don't think
as
it's not.
much
It's
loving.
not. I don't think it's that. It's that you just.
You get what I'm saying?
Honestly,
like she
I be
said,
guilty
the chase.
sometimes.
You gotta like
a lot of women
you gotta like. I guess you can't.
Sarah, you must be really cold and hard in the beginning.
I think I am.
You
Why do you
are.
say that? Like how? What do you mean? In the beginning?
You're
I'm
telling
like,
me.
I'm like this
you're,
lady.
you're everything. Like which that is a good reason for
It is.
Sorry.
It
But,
is. I don't like guys like that, yo. Like it is.
My whole question is, if you wouldn't have asked that question, and
You talking about the paycheck?
Yeah.
The check thing? Okay.
like, would
I
he
wouldn't
actually have paid it or not, or would he have parted his lips to say, "Can you help me out with this?"
And I wouldn't
Like,
mind it at
wait,
all.
like-
I would not mind it, and I will love them so much. I just don't want to be in a romantic
Maybe
relationship
you should change
with
it
you.
a little bit. Maybe
See-
maybe you
see,
should
if
not
we're in
offer
the
until
beginning-
the card is on the table.
If we're in the beginning and we're friends or whatever, and you're like, yo, I ain't got money, but I want to go to this place, I'm like, yo, we'll split it or whatever. That's
Okay.
like a different scenario.
Yeah, that's not a
But
date.
yeah. But like, if we go on a date or whatever, you're taking me out, whatever, the check comes, I am going to offer to pay. I will never assume that you got it. But if you're like, yeah, go ahead, we're friends for life. You gonna be my best brother ever.
This is
Is
my
that a
biggest
date,
hang up or
though?
confusion though. If I'm if I say, Sayla, look, I'm the man.
Yeah,
I'm the man.
yeah,
I'm the man.
yeah. You are.
If I say, let me take you out to eat, let's go to Grand Lux. It's one of my favorite places, y'all.
Let's
Okay.
go. Let's go.
Wink, wink. So, and I, like as the man, I asked you to go.
And
Right.
you've expressed that you're feeling her, right?
Yeah, and I
You're
want
like,
to
okay.
take you.
Yeah.
So I'm gonna pick you up at 8 because we already know each other. I'm gonna pick you up at 8. Let's go. There ain't no reason why I should have asked you to go if I didn't have the money.
Facts.
Right.
To
But
pay.
I still, the thing is that I don't mind paying for my share.
That ain't the point.
Yeah,
It's
yeah.
not.
I feel like you
listen
have to. You can't just say. I feel like you have to be like, would you like me to help with that, or would you like me to this and that? You know, like it's not fair to assume even
Yes,
that.
it
like,
is. You asked me. I asked you.
Look,
I meant-
Rachel.
I meant I
Rachel
asked you.
even said that the dude sometimes is checking to see if you'll offer.
are.
She did say that. We have it on record. We can play
does
it back.
that
But then
mean
they.
that-
But
that
then they
that's who
say
you wanna
no.
be with?
Then
Yeah.
they say no.
What?
Then you both might feel like you're incompatible.
Wait,
Just
wait,
because
I
they're
missed
looking
it.
for that. I did say, you know what I'm
No,
saying?
I
there
think
a minute.
it's almost like somebody who yeah, like I don't know, when a man lets open the door for me in the car and I get into the side, I open his side for him.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah. Like that.
That is not going along with. This,
But that's what I'm saying, but-
this,
But he might be looking for that. He might be looking like, let me see, if that's something that she did. I think these are fair things. The thing is that it doesn't make me not like them or love them as a person. It just made you a little bit less attractive to me. Like it
is because there are so many men out here who are willing to take you on dates and pay for the full date.
That's
And
right.
if you offer, they're gonna say no. I got you because
Right.
I offered in the first place.
I
It's
wouldn't offer
not
on
about
date one.
money. It's
Nah.
about willing to
Nah.
sacrifice something.
I don't
It's
think
not
you should
about
offer
money.
on date 1 anymore. I think
Nah.
you should offer on date 2.
You're acting like I called you to go to Chipotle, and I mean that would be appropriate. Hey, Ari, do you want me to cover this? But
I'll
we're
follow
not
date
dating.
two.
All right, I will take into
Date
consideration
two.
what y'all.
Date two.
Date two.
Honestly, hopefully soon I won't need to go on anymore.
Come on.
I feel you.
You know what I'm saying?
I
I'll be going on dates.
We all
I'll be
agree.
going on dates, but we will be economically in one accord.
Yeah.
So it won't even matter.
Amen. Touch
Amen.
and
I
agree.
want to ask you something.
Please.
Because I'm gonna give the guys something for this, okay? Because I know
Okay.
there's probably
They're back
guys
there.
that are
They've
watching
been
that are
hooting
like,
and hollering
what?
this whole time in the back. We can hear them.
I feel like, we talked about how guys are attracted to the sedity women
Yeah.
and the mean girls, right?
Come on now.
But what about us women who can't accept a nice guy?
Who can or can't?
Can't.
See, that's not
Because
Yeah,
because my husband and it's been me before.
Mm.
It has in the past where it's like you're doing everything right. Like you're too nice, you're too sweet, there's a lot of women like this. And if y'all haven't been there, I've been there. I've done it. And then I grew up a little bit and was like, wow, that was dumb. Like why was that? But there are some guys out
No, you're
there
darn right.
that are super nice, that are great on paper and off paper, and women won't give them the time of day. So I don't think it's necessarily just.
this is so good.
I don't think it's necessarily just the men that are attracted to the sedity women. It's some women that are attracted to some real men.
So I think I meet people. I think some of the stuff that I'm meeting is guys used to having to treat the girl a little bit a certain way to keep her. I think because there are women that if you're too good to them, they act like that. I am not that way because I really had a father that was in my life and loved the mess out of me. A lot of times women that act this way, they always had to fight for daddy's attention, or daddy wasn't always available, or a lot of times, not always, or parent in the house, you had to fight for the love. You had to fight for the love. So whenever somebody's giving that love freely, you really kind of don't even know how to act, right?
I accept it.
Yeah. So that is such a great point, Rachel.
You don't know how to be loved.
And I think guys have learned that too. Like, I need to treat her maybe like a little bit poorly, or not give all, like you said too, because if I do, she's gonna lose interest in me. But I am the exact opposite. Like, you try that mess with me, by the time you come back, the spot that you came back to was incinerated. So
I'm telling you, I will tell you up front, if you start acting like a butthole, like I like you don't want Ramika to hit the play button, okay? Because I can be the hugest, biggest, largest butthole ever. But for me, it takes energy. But when I go there, I'm there.
I'm in the pocket.
I'm there. So I just tell them, like, let's be cool, calm, collective with each other. Let's be relaxed with each other. Let's not. Whatever triggered that in your mind, hit that pause and stop button. Let's not.
It would be funny to watch stuff from outside. Just want to go on record and say that.
But do you feel like somebody could be too nice to you?
I haven't met him yet.
I
haven't met.
Honestly, my father is so loving. It's a prerequisite for me.
I mean, I do have but
I meet guys that you can tell that they think that's the equation that they have to do. But you will mess up so hard with me.
Yeah.
My father is very engaged and protecting and loving and security and wants to know that. So if I sense anything less than, I don't want you no more.
Right.
And that's my biggest problem. But I know that there's so many men who honestly think nice guys finish last. So I got to be a little bit. And that's what I'm thinking over here, right? I need to not be so sweet and kind and nice, because then they can't handle it. Oh, man. This is the thing that makes me want to, like, I don't like it.
My thing is, like, I can think of, like, one scenario, but he's literally 10 years younger than me, and he knows that, so then he's overcompensating. So that's why he's being nice. Because, you compete. You know that I'm not into somebody that's 10 years younger than me, first of all. So you feel like you got to compete really hard and try to do the things that they're doing. And it's like, don't do that, because I just really am not into you. Either way. Either way, like some of the stuff he says, I'm like, yeah. He's still, but I can cook. Oh, I can cook too. Calm down. Like,
I guess what makes me sad is that, like, when I don't care, you all up on it. But if I care, so I have to maintain not caring. That makes me terribly sad.
No, can you care? Can you care
That's
in
what
the
I'm
beginning?
saying.
Can you care
Whatever.
in the beginning? Can you put the ice cubes in the freezer from the beginning?
I don't understand though.
Don't put your energy on, okay, let me act like I don't care.
Yeah.
Put energy in, let me
actually not caring.
No.
That's where it's at. That's where it's at. Y'all know.
Life, like doing something that you want to do.
But that's not
so
caring.
Your focus is
like
on you.
the reality
you can be
is
carefree and caring at the same time.
The truth of the matter is that, like, when you're by yourself and you're single, you're like, I got this. I'm focused on myself. I'm focused. I'm doing me, and that's what makes you so attractive. But then you lose that balance when you start focusing on that person too much, right? So you have to go back to I'm doing me. I'm focused on me.
And you have to remind yourself when
and
you
this
slip
is
up,
real.
remind yourself.
You need to check yourself.
Yeah,
before you what? Before you
let's not wreck. Let's not wreck.
No, it's real.
I mean, you're gonna slip up. I'm not sitting here and then saying that, oh, now that I've got this whole new, look on relationships, there's not a single bad day. There's no emotional day. No.
Right.
I let that feeling hit, feel through it. Why am I feeling this way? I pray a lot. Just so I can see just the vision of why I'm feeling this way. Just so I can grow. But at end of the day, you just kind of have to, like, hey, nothing is permanent. Like, it's just a situation. It's just a feeling that you and this guy are going through. It's at the end of the day, I do something that I enjoy doing, whether it's praying, meditating, going out with your friends. So, I mean, you're going to slip up, yes. And that's just when you just need to learn how to
reel it back in a little bit. And that's where
it's not easy. I'm not trying to make it sound easy.
No,
it sucks.
And when I say don't care, I start exaggerating a little bit just for effect. What I'm really talking about is that I don't care. If you're meant to be in my life, you will be in it. If God has ordained it, you're going to be in it. And if not, then that's okay too, right?
Yeah.
It's that other thing when you're trying to figure out that everything gets out of whack. So when I say don't care, I wasn't caring. When I was single, I'm focused. I'm in the pocket. I'm worried about this. I'm worried about that. And now I've given to you too much of that attention. And so I can still hear them over there. So not caring to a certain degree, to a certain degree. Not that you don't care about that person. I care for all humans, but
you just don't want it to be to the degree where where they have to ask you, are you interested in me? Do you like me? And it's 6 months down the line, we done been on 12 dates, and you're having to ask me that question, then maybe I'm not into you because you had to ask me that question.
Dang, she opened up a
all
whole
relationships have problems. Family, friendships, intimate. There's always problems. So you're never going to be, like she was stating earlier, in her marriage. It's just.
Let's throw out relationship goals. Being yourself.
The one I like, the one she
Respect.
said. I said respect. The one she said was
Grace.
Grace.
Grace for that person. That was really good.
You also said a healthy relationship goals of a healthy marriage.
Yeah.
That was good.
I have a goal that I want to build something together, kingdom wise, assist the vision for each other. That's a huge goal. That's their vision, you pour into them. You have a vision, make sure if I have something over my life, you help me to manifest that. And if there's something over his life, I help him manifest that. That's very important. Relationship goals.
Is that realistic in a marriage?
Yeah.
I think it has to be.
When
Oh my
if
God.
You're equally yoked.
There's no way that I'm gonna get in this marriage and you're gonna suppress the call over my life.
No.
Right.
Priscilla and Aquila. People don't talk about them a lot, but they're in text. And they were both in ministry. See, taboo. Some people mad about that. But Priscilla and Aquila were husband and wife. Paul lived in their house, you know what I'm saying, when he was traveling throughout. You can read about it in the New Testament. And then they planted a church together. And they're mentioned in Scripture 6 times. And in those 6 times, they're mentioned as Priscilla and Aquila 3 times, and Aquila and Priscilla 3 times, which shows the balance in their relationship. And that's really big for Scripture because women really rarely led in a sentence. Usually the person that leads, it was a man or the subject. So the fact that as a married couple, they were said to do the same thing together, that was big. And so I see them as 2 people that contributed to the overall purpose, right? And respected each other. And Paul respected them, so that's a whole nother conversation.
Yeah, it really
but,
is.
so the goals for me, them.
So working in the garden together is really important, right? So even okay, since she wanted to get scriptural about it, then let's go on and go ahead and get it there. Right? So the man is working the garden, right? And a helpmeet. So when a man doesn't have a vision or doesn't know what he wants or what his goal is or what the call on his life is, a woman can feel real it's really crazy how it can affect her. It's just really, But when he does have it, and then the woman is a fit to assist in making that dream and vision happen, I feel that's imperative. But see, there's also other you have Deborah. Deborah was a leader, right? We talked about this. Deborah was a leader over all Israel, prophetess over all Israel. She was married, right? But she was the leader as well. So whatever the case is and whatever the dynamic is, it's just that these two, I feel what you said about God and also the purpose. I'm mad at you, but we have a purpose. We have a community to build. We have people leaning on us. So right now I don't like you, but this vision is the most important thing. I'm not feeling you right now, but there's people connected to us, and I feel that is something that has the power to really hold people together even more. A purpose, a goal, something greater.
Other people's lives can depend on your purpose and ministry, and so
and we're beefing right now, and I'm not gonna put you on blast because, you know, there's a bigger thing at hand, or we're gonna push past this because this affects people so much more, you know, the community at large. Man, I'm gonna let them have it when we finish. When we finish here, I'll be like, okay, guys, tell us what the joke was, since y'all was laughing so hard back there.
Probably laughing about my nose is probably coming out.
We're gonna find out. Director Charles, we're gonna find out what was so funny. Anyways, we're coming like 9, you know, coming close to the end of the show. So we're gonna start dropping these last thoughts. But it was a fun conversation.
Yeah, absolutely.
I really, really enjoyed it. And I know that we have reoccurring guests all the time. So, you know, some of you will be back again, you know. And so I don't know. Any other last thoughts you want to put out there? Tell people like, hey, yeah, you know what I'm saying? Yeah.
I think just along the topic of goals, again, if it's your relationship goal should include goals. Like, let's have some goals for yourself, for you, what you want to accomplish, for your purpose. I think that a healthy relationship starts with healthy feelings about self.
Exactly.
If I don't love me, you can't love me.
Exactly.
Right. If I don't love me, I can't love you.
Come on.
Exactly.
That's just real. So I think instead of trying to look for relationships or seeing what seems to be, you know, a goal on social media, start looking at you first.
Yeah.
The biggest thing for me, and I know I keep going back to text, but hey, it's who I am. I had to find my relationship with myself and with God before I could find a relationship with a man that was meant to be. Because I was so addicted to dating, and I was addicted to having different guys and whatever, that one day I woke up and realized, man, I've been miserable for years. And there's always been somebody around, but I'm lonely. How am I lonely with people? And I realized that I was trying to fill these different spaces with people, and I was never okay being by myself. And, you know, I think sometimes we say, oh, I put God first. God is the most important thing in my life. We say it, but we don't really actually practice it or believe it or do it. And so I took time to really do it and make God be the most important thing in my life, to the point where I barely spent time with anybody, because I needed to look myself in the mirror, I needed to figure some things out for me, figure out why I was the way I was, and really love on him. And then I was happier than I had ever been in my life. And I found happiness by myself with God. So when my husband came, to be honest with you, I wasn't even really that open, because I was like, I'm actually really happy, and I don't really want anybody to like mess that up.
Wow, that's beautiful.
So I was kind of resisting, but God, he told me and showed me who I would end up with, you know, the type of man that he would be. And I had a whole thing written out. And I didn't share this, but when I met my husband, we met kind of on social media actually, but through a friend. We exchanged numbers and we were texting. And one of the things that was important to me was communication. I said, you have to be able to communicate. And by communicate, I don't mean text me all the time, because that's so impersonal. Like, I want to be able to have a conversation on the phone, in person, you know what I'm saying? Like, date me. And so for a week, he texted me. I'm like, he's a nice guy. But I had promised God I was not going to settle anymore, even in the small things, because he showed me what my husband looked like. So I worked it up. I was like, okay. It was a Friday. I said, I'm going to tell him that he's not it. And right now, the season I'm in, I can't have distractions.
That's good, sir.
The day that I said, okay, God, I'm going to tell him, he called me. We talked for 4 hours. In that conversation, don't ask me how we got here, but I read him everything that I had written to my future husband, wrote a letter to my future husband. The same month, he wrote a poem to his future wife. In the first conversation, this is why I'm like, you can know. In the first conversation, it was like, eyes open. And he said to me, if you are who I think you are, I got to handle some stuff first. And he made sure it wasn't no hang-ons, wasn't no open ties.
Run around this
Come
room.
on,
Girl,
I swear.
Don't get mad at me about it.
Wasn't no, you can text me every other week. Wasn't none of that happening. He's like, just give me a few days. And he did. He made sure there was no disrespect. And then we were in a committed relationship. But in that first conversation, I said, this is what I want, this is what I don't. If you can't get with it, cool. No love lost. You're just not him. And one of the things for me was celibacy. It was just my choice. And so he wasn't in that space, but he had to agree to be if he wanted to be with me. And he did. So I feel like if there's anything I can say with with all of that, is know yourself, love yourself, value yourself enough not to settle, and to recognize that God can create somebody that's just that good. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Because he created you and you're just that good.
Yeah.
So
That was awesome.
Shut, I ain't got nothing to say after that.
Hashtag relationship goals. If you're gonna put a hashtag on it, that's what it looks like. So, ladies, we're done. We're not gonna talk anything more about that. That's finished. And thank you, Rachel, so much for that hashtag relationship goals. I just also want to say, as we close out, thank you to our sponsors, Beautiful Solutions. They really, really have done some really amazing work on making me beautiful. Like, she just takes me in. We've done facials. We've done all these different things. I really had some dull-looking skin, and she's just been rejuvenating it. And she's like, girlfriend, this is just the first phase, right? And they've been doing all this stuff. I didn't know. Like, I kept using all these cleansers and spending all my money on this stuff, and it wasn't doing it. And she took me, and she's like, I'm going to get you ready for this show. And they've been making me really, really look glowy. And I love it so much, and I'm thankful for them. So thank you so much to Beautiful Solutions for this work you've been doing on my skin. I love it, and we're just getting started. So I just love them. Thank you so much, Cindy. So thank you so much for watching Meeting of the Minds, and until we see you next time, I hope you enjoyed the show. And I got nothing. See you next time.
Intellectually engaging to think outside the lines with conversation about the nation that never leaves you blind. Take a listen and pay attention. Here is where you find the educational, sensational meeting of the minds. Yeah, it's the meeting of the minds.